Welcome to Talk Across America. I'm Doug Miles, and we're here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. Joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome author of a very interesting book. He's had a lot of success with these books. He's written Steal Like an Artist and Show Your Work, New York Times best-selling book. He's got a new one out now called Keep Going, 10 Ways to Stay Creative in Good Times and Bad. We're joined today by Austin Kleon on the telephone. Austin, great to talk with you. How are you?
Hey, Doug, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have a chance to chat with you. I wish I had a chance to chat with you before when the other books came out. I'm glad we had it now. And first of all, congratulations on those other books. They really took off. Must feel proud of that.
I am. I'm delighted I'm delighted that anyone cares.
Well, I think you're writing about creativity and finding meaning in what you do, whether it's paid work or work you enjoy, even if you don't get paid. But I think a lot of people are looking for that. So you tapped a nerve, I imagine.
I think so. I think everyone's looking to be a little bit more creative in their work and their life because we're in this time now where we're sort of encouraged to act like machines, and I think being creative puts us in touch with our human side.
Yeah, I think most people's jobs may have an element of creativity, but I would say 80% of people's work maybe doesn't have any. So that you need it somewhere in your life. If you don't get it in your paid job, you need to find it somewhere, right?
Yeah, I think everyone needs a good, solid, creative hobby, I think. I think hobbies are incredibly underrated in this day and age. Everyone's supposed to have a side hustle now, and I'm a big fan of hobbies. Just a good old-fashioned thing that you do to take your mind off of things, to go somewhere else, to use your hands, to just really spend time doing something that you love, that feeds you and doesn't take too much out of you.
Yeah, that's a word you don't hear that much anymore. I don't know if kids, still collect stamps or collect coins or that kind of stuff. I mean, when I was in elementary school, there was, everybody did some of that one time or another. Whether you played ball, that's separate, but you had a hobby as well. I wonder if kids still do that. Maybe they're too busy playing video games. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I mean, I suppose video games could be a hobby, but, I think that we're all just encouraged to kind of living in this time now where the ultimate role of everyone is to be some sort of productive worker, is to be really productive. And I don't think if you go back in time, that was not always the case. I mean, the point of life is to be a whole human being and to enjoy your life. It's not just to be some, productive worker bee. And so I think in this culture right now, I think everyone's kind of dying to get in touch with their more human side and to kind of disconnect from this kind of rat race that's going on in this machine-like world that we're all living in.
Yeah, I agree. I think nothing wrong with the technology, but it seems like it's just overwhelming. To some people, they just can't stop using it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but you got to get away from it once in a while.
Well, I think when computers were first introduced, they were sort of introduced as tools that could help us do the kind of work that we wanted to do.
Right.
I think what's more insidious now is that things are being designed in a way that they're supposed to be addictive, that these companies actually make their money by designing addictive products that get you to be on them all day. I mean, Facebook makes all its money. The more you are on the platform, the more you are clicking buttons, the more money they make through ad revenue. So we've gone from this moment where computers were supposed to be these wonderful tools to help us do things and to explore and connect with other people, and now we're really being manipulated and we're being kind of sold out by these machines. And so it's time to kind of take our time back and disconnect from some of these things and find out what it is to be more human again.
Yeah, I remember when computers first came out, they were called word processors, and the only thing they'd really help you do was type better. That was it.
Yes, they were simple, right? They were simple machines and tools, and I think that's one of the real problems with being a creative person right now is like, my son, who's 6, he does amazing things with his iPad, but his iPad is made really stupid, that it's not connected to the internet, doesn't have Twitter, doesn't have Facebook on it. It only has apps like GarageBand where he can record songs, So you're right, it isn't about the technology, but it's kind of about the apps and the way that these things are designed to really take our attention away from us.
Well, let's talk briefly, in case some people may not be aware. You wrote the previous two books that are in a similar vein. Give a little background of what brought you to do those books and this current book in your own life.
So Keep Going is the third in a trilogy of books about having a more creative life in the digital age. So the first book in the series was called Steal Like an Artist. That's sort of a book for people who really need a good dose of inspiration to kind of get started or to find a new thing or to find their voice, or if they're worried about their originality. Steal Like an Artist is a book to read to kind of jumpstart that. Show Your Work is a book about self-promotion for people who hate the idea of self-promotion. It's a book about how to share what it is that you do with the world in a way that's interesting and that you can form a network around you to help you with whatever you need help with. And then Keep Going is sort of like it's for when you've kind of, whether you're starting out or burned out or starting over or even successful, it's a book about getting back on the creative path if you've fallen off. So it's a kind of corrective book. It's a kind of pep talk to get you back working again and to keep you going once again. And so they do form a little trilogy, and I think they're you can read them in any order, but I do think the books speak to each other in a really nice way.
I was going to say, this current book is like you're the coach in the ball club, getting the player out of a slump. You give him some good tips there. So that's at least what I felt, reading it. Okay, you may feel a little discouraged, but these 10 tips help you. So that's good.
Well, they helped me. This was a book I really needed to write because I needed to read it, and so I had to kind of, that's kind of being an adult, is you have to do your own pep talks, So
right.
This was my own pep talk that I wrote for myself that I thought could be helpful for other people, and so I am willing to play that role of coach and to help people get back in the game.
We won't go through all of them, obviously, but there's a couple that kind of stood out. The first one, obviously, Every Day is Groundhog Day. People remember that film where the day kept repeating for Bill Murray, but you use that in kind of a positive way, right?
Yeah, I think what Bill Murray learns in that movie is that you can see the repetition of your days as a burden or like a sentence or a curse, or you can see it as an opportunity. And I think, Bill Murray's character feels totally out of control. His life seems out of control. He doesn't seem to be in control of his life in a wider sense, but he does gain some control of his days and his environment. And he learns that what provides his life with meaning is how he fills the days, what he spends his time on, and what he pays attention to. And I love the end of the movie, how he's learning to ice sculpt and play the piano and do all these things that we kind of think of as hobbies, and that's what kind of provides the meaning for his life. And I think that Groundhog Day is the great parable about, in our modern times, is how to take one day at a time, not to worry too much about yesterday or tomorrow, but to really accept the day for the gift it is and to fill it in the best way you can.
Yeah, I need to see that again. I haven't seen it since it first came out. I gotta get to see that again because it was a great movie.
It's surprisingly old. It's 25
right?
years old now. Yeah. So it has a quarter century behind it, and I think it keeps getting better with age.
One other one that I think so many people are afraid to do this, but you have number 7 is You Are Allowed to Change Your Mind. I think so many people are afraid to do that. You talk about that in the book.
Yeah, we're kind of in this culture right now where you're supposed to have your beliefs and your ideas, and you're supposed to stick to them no matter what. The creative people and all workers really now, we're encouraged to think of ourselves as brands, as like personal brands. And
right.
The problem with being a brand is that you have to know exactly what your mission statement is, and you have to know exactly what it is that you do, and you never want to be off-brand. But being off-brand is one of the big jobs of human beings, is to explore and to come up with new ideas and to see if we can't be changed by life, because being changed is that's how we know we're alive. is that we're constantly changing and we're learning. And so you need to have the courage to change your mind once in a while, and you need to find spaces in which you can do some real thinking and allow yourself to be changed.
Yeah, good advice. Keep going. 10 Ways to Stay Creative in Good Times and Bad is the name of the book. We've been talking with Austin Kleon today. And Austin, give out your website if you would. People get more information about you in the book.
So if you go over to austinkleon.com, that's Kleon, that is my home base, and you'll find all the links to my social media and my newsletter and my blog and all kinds of good stuff. I'd love to hear from you.
Great. Austin, pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we can do it again. I'm sure you have something in the works, so when it does come out, we'll talk to you at that time. But thanks for being with us.
The pleasure was mine, and I look forward to the next talk.
Thank you for joining us today on Talk Across America. Please visit our website at dougmilesmedia.com for more great interviews and content. And if you're interested in any of the books we talk about on the program, please click the Amazon link on our website. It helps support the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon here from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.